going. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 7 o'clock. We have any new people attending Racing for Recovery for the first time? Don't? Welcome, we're glad you decided to join us. We can get you a schedule and answer any questions after the meeting.
All right. Support group meeting guidelines. Thank you for attending the Racing for Recovery support group meeting. We are focused on maintaining a drug-free and healthy lifestyle. Since 2001, our open forum meetings welcome parents, adolescents, recovering individuals, and anyone who supports our mission. Your suggestions, comments, or ideas are welcome to make our meetings the best they can be. The Racing for Recovery support group meeting is a cutting-edge alternative to what is currently offered. By combining substance abusers, families, friends, and the public at large, we have created an environment that is beneficial to everyone who has been affected by alcohol or drug addiction. Meeting start time is 7 o'clock. Please be on time. 2, please turn off cell phones and ringers to vibrate. Please refrain from posting on social media during these meetings to show respect and courtesy to yourself and others. 3, please only one person speaking at a time. Please speak loudly so that everyone can hear. 4, proof of attendance is gladly provided. Please turn in your paperwork prior to the meeting, and you can pick it up at the end of the meeting. 5, honesty is required. 6, feel free to openly share your comments and points of view on how alcohol and drug addiction has impacted your life. 7, this meeting is open to people of all ages and welcomes diversity, so please refrain from using excessive foul language or language that discriminates against any race, gender, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or disability to maintain an atmosphere of respect and dignity for all who are present. 8, if you see a visitor, new member, or returning member that you haven't seen in a while, please warmly welcome them into our program. 9, confidentially is important. Okay, no, that doesn't count because we're live streaming tonight. 10, please refrain from leaving the meeting while it is in progress because it's disruptive to others. 11, there is no smoking on the premises of Racing for Recovery. No alcohol. Right. 12, please dispense all trash in a garbage can and do not litter on our premises.
Thanks, Eric. Good job. Who's got the guidelines for living a lifestyle of recovery? Racing for Recovery. Who's got the guidelines?
Somebody give it to me or Steve?
Oh, it's on your table.
Larry.
Guidelines for living a lifestyle recovery. Yeah, I can't see. Lifestyle recovery guidelines are intended to be utilized by recovering individuals, their families, and anyone else who is striving to avoid substance abuse and achieve sobriety. Guidelines. Number 1, recognizing that substance abuse ruins lives. Number 2, wanting to pursue positive alternatives to substance abuse such as our education, employment, quality of relationships, and health and fitness. Using resources such as friends, family, teachers, and peers as a way to achieve and remain sober. Adding sports, art, or music to these resources will help us stay focused and motivated. 4, defining balance and working toward making it part of everyday life. 5, building self-esteem and confidence through sobriety to combat negative feelings regarding oneself. Never heard him reading that, can't see. 6, understanding that negative behaviors of isolation and self-pity lead to self-destruction. 7, lifting a person up is different than allowing them to continue their destructive lifestyles. Be there for yourself and be patient with your friends and family. 8, learning how to help without supporting the addict's behavior, providing assistance to the recovering individual that will improve their lives, not further the usage. 9, recognizing personal challenges and integrating them into our lifestyle as challenges to triumph over. 10, caring for our personal, emotional, physical, and spiritual individuality, the source we use for the sense of worth. Each person is truly magnificent. Our mission at Racing for Recovery is to prevent all forms of substance abuse by promoting a lifestyle of fitness and health for all those affected by addiction.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Larry.
Who's got Kelly's poem?
What Racing for Recovery means to me. I'm laughing because she won't stop fanning and I'm cold now, so okay.
Respect yourself enough to quit using. Accept the challenges that lie ahead. Commit to your recovery. Include friends and family on your journey. Never doubt your will to succeed. Give yourself credit for your accomplishments. Focus on the positive. I don't know, I'm sorry. I don't know. Focus on the positive things you want in life. Overcome your fears and keep moving forward. Remember the reasons you are seeking sobriety. Stop making noises. Reach out to others to give and receive support. Expect holes in the road, choose another road. Care for your body, we only get one in this lifetime. Open your heart, mind, emotions, and spirit. Victory comes from a balanced lifestyle. Educate yourself on all aspects of recovery. Racing for recovery saves lives. You will learn with sobriety anything is possible.
Exciting.
Thank you. All right, now it's time for introductions. We're going to go around the room. We want to hear your name and why you decided to join us tonight. You do not have to identify as an alcoholic or addict, but if that helps you in your own recovery, please feel free to do it. And we're going to start with my pal, Eric.
My name is Eric, and I come for balance and to continue to learn.
This is Dylan. I'm here to stay sober.
I'm Tyler. I'm here to improve myself and my life.
Justin here for positive peer support.
Mike here for sober health and mind, body, and soul.
I'm Matt. I'm here to better myself.
My name's Bob. I'm here for a life of sobriety.
My name is Casey. I'm here to try to stay sober and clean.
My name's Kristen. I'm here to heal and positive peer support.
I'm Scott, and I'm here because it works.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, I'm Becca. Just better decision making when worse things, the traumatic things for me happen, because that's when I make my worst decisions. So, just better decision making, I guess. Yeah.
I'm Tony. I'm here for change.
My name's Jeff, and I'm here because the solution and the answers are here.
My name is Josh. I'm here to find a better myself.
Hi, my name is Elena, and I'm here to heal my inner child.
I'm Heather, and I'm here to learn how to handle myself and to recoup from a weird weekend of missing my family reunion due to not wanting to be around everything.
I'm Heidi. I'm here to change my life, and because I have issues.
I'm Tiffany, and I'm here to continue to live as people like that.
I'm Candy. I'm here to end a decent weekend and to start.
I'm Larry. I'm here because I enjoy these evening meetings. I'm here to provide support for the other 23 people in this room tonight.
I'm Steven. I'm here to learn how to live life after sobriety.
My name is Joe. I'm here because it's part of my routine and to remain teachable.
And my name is Dustin. I'm here to end an excellent weekend and start a new week. And this is my favorite way to start the week. I love coming to these Monday night meetings and positive peer support and all that good stuff. Who's got the answer?
The Answer by Donald D. Carr. Running from the misery, trying to sleep the pain. As I approach the light of hope that lies before me, each step overwhelms me, every breath sears my throat. I ache, my body rebels against me, my memories torment me. Agony has become my closest companion. My demons mock me as I dangle helplessly above the abyss of alcohol and drug abuse. The voices all sound the same, criticizing, accusing, blaming me for what has happened. They don't understand. They don't care who I am. I'm a human being, full of thoughts and feelings. I'm worth saving. Just show me the way. At last, I reach the light of promise. There stands the answer. Open arms, understanding smiles, looks of trust, and so it begins, racing for recovery.
Thank you, sir. Announcements. Tomorrow morning we will have Soul Core at 8 a.m. And there's a race coming up in October, which is next month now. It seems like every time Steven mentioned it, it was so far away, but now it's just over a month out. So if you're not signed up, go ahead and get signed up. Anybody got any other announcements before I move on? Negative. All right, as you can see from the introductions, our meetings are for everyone affected by self-destructive behavior. No topic is off limits. If you have a question or something you would like to discuss, we encourage you to bring it up. So that being said, does anybody have anything before we go ahead and get into this awesome book? Everybody had a great weekend? All right, who wants to read? We are on page 49 on Experience the Journey.
I'll read. Experience the journey. To start building that life of balance, start asking questions. Think about the 5 pillars: physical, spiritual, psychological, emotional, and intellectual parts of yourself. What do you need to nurture each one in a little bit each day? What did you lose because of your addiction, and what did you want to get back? What are your strengths? What did you love before you lost yourself? What are the first steps you have to take to get those things back? If people ask me those questions, I'll answer. Then I ask them the same questions. Finding the answers is part of the journey. There's a vision of heaven that says that when you go there, you get back everything you've lost. That parallels recovery and addiction. But a lot of people misunderstand what heaven is. When they come to me, they want the treasure, bang, just like that. They're grieving all over all the time they've lost and the bridges they've burned. I can't wait to get started creating this new life of balance and getting back to who they were before drugs. But you can't go back to who you were. That's the hard truth. You're a different person now. You can't take back the past. What you can do is take the best of what you were and the wisdom you've gained on your journey through recovery and create a new version of yourself. Older, wiser, calmer, more grateful, physically healthier. It's up to you. To accomplish that, you need balanced perspective and self-kindness. What you don't need is to go after the treasure, because the treasure isn't what you think it is. You might think the treasure is the balanced life away from drugs or alcohol, the good job, the reconciled family, physical health, artistic expression, living somewhere you love, the whole package. But it's not. The treasure is a journey to those things, the treasure is the journey to those things, the difficult times, the triumphs, the experiences and lessons that make you a better, stronger, more giving and loving human being. Passing through all those experiences gives you the strength and the insight to create your new life and make the most of it. In other words, the treasure of recovery isn't a brilliant new life, but becoming the kind of person who can create a brilliant new life. With balance, you'll reap the full benefit of what a life without drugs offers you. When you have balance and holism, you can live the life you are meant to live.
Thank you. This is a great excerpt, passage, whatever you want to call it, the few paragraphs. My favorite part is where it says, but you can't go back to who you were. That's the hard truth. Because so many times I used to hear, we want the old you back, and for a while I did too. I thought I wanted who I was before until I started experiencing this journey. And then I started looking back like, no, you wouldn't like the old me, not by any means. And I've worked my ass off to make sure that I don't become the person that I was. And in this time, I like how it talks about wanting everything back right away. That was one thing I experienced. And what I quickly realized, the most important things that I've gotten back are not material things either. It's trust and, a lot of trust, really, man. And and some of the love and some support from family members and friends, and I got a son now, you know what I mean? So those are the things that are the treasure for me. It's not a good job or a brand new car or a brand new house. Those things are all great, and I know those will come. Like, I'm not going to rush for that. What I wanted is intangible things. You know what I mean? The love and the trust and all those things that I completely destroyed in my decade of destruction. And not all that's back yet, but I can tell you it's getting better each day. You know, with my consistency and routine that I've created, it's only going to get better. And those material things that shit will just come. That's not something, I don't strive to obtain those things anymore. I want to create a balanced happiness in my life, because going home happy and going to bed and being able to sleep, like those are little things that I missed out on in those 10 years. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I think I overlooked that I treasure so much now, is going home and just hanging out with my son or with Jennifer or just being able to do nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so funny how it changed so rapidly for me in the beginning from, shit, I need to hurry up and get back to work so I can go get a new car, or I can do this and I can do that. And I don't know. That's just a great little passage. And yeah. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, when I was using, I was constantly, like, people never really talked to me or anything. Like, I was in my own world. It was kind of a way to just escape my job in reality. When I went through recovery, everybody started to think I was kind of a jerk and kind of an asshole, honestly. Like, after I got clean, and, you know, I had more people at work, kind of like people that were still smoking and using, like, kind of like looking at me in a different way, because I wasn't leaving on my lunch breaks, or I wasn't, you know, staying over after work smoking with people I used to smoke with, and they kind of looked at me like I was like, I don't know, almost like a bad person. But I mean, I have other addictions and other problems, like, that goes beyond drugs and alcohol, that I'm still working on, and it's hard. You know, I come here. This is, like, honestly the first time I've ever been open about all this, just because it's a smaller group. And honestly, I like the smaller groups. But this helps me, honestly. Like, I come out here because I do like the programs, and it does help me. I want to be more open, and I don't want to go down that path I've been going down. You know, I've been trying to go to church every Sunday, and sometimes I feel like, you know, my other addictions are still taking over, and it's hard. It's hard for me to try to, you know, keep a mindset of what my goals are. You know, I do have a nice job. I do have a nice car. I do have a house. So it's like I do have all that stuff, but at the same time, like, my addictions are, like, sometimes they want to overcome me, and it's sad. It's like, you know, I just want to get better.
Well, thanks for sharing, man. That's a great way to open up. And cool. All right.
Hi, my name is Alina, and I like here at the very beginning where it talks about the 5 pillars: the physical, spiritual, psychological, emotional, and intellectual parts of yourself. I know for me, I'm working on my physical every day, and I'm working on my spiritual every day. You know, and for me, when I work on the spiritual, it kind of straightens out the psychological and emotional part of me when I work on the spiritual. Because I'm learning to trust in my God, you know, to depend on Him, and show some gratitude for the things that He has brought into my life. I was just telling Todd Bieber at the beginning, right before the meeting started, this morning, I was doing my physical part, and I was walking the loop and listening to some spiritual stuff in my ears, and I don't know, I just began to worship and praise while I was walking, and him and Todd just popped in my mind like boom, and to me that was like, during my worship, that my God was letting me know, I love you so much until I sense Todd and Todd after you to rescue you. That's how much I love you. And, you know, I was telling Todd, I thanked him for him doing the work because, you know, on himself, because if he had not done the work himself, then he couldn't have been used by my God. He wouldn't have even thought about it. It would have been like, okay, well, she's having a difficult time, next. But he was obedient to me, to a higher power, him and Todd. But anyway, you know, and it made me feel so wonderful that he brought them to my mind, just to let me know, you know, I love you, kid. Keep doing what you're doing. Wow. Let's see, what else? That was that last part. The intellectual. Whoa. I don't like to rely on that too much. Because my intellect got me a seat right here. But learning new things, sitting here going through the book, you know, is adding to my intellect. Me having relationship with my peers, you know, is adding to my intellect. I've got to put that good stuff in to be able to combat that negative stuff, you know, because I can't just remove that and leave it empty. So it's a slow process, and another wonderful thing has happened. I used to think, man, I'm getting ready to be 58 years old, and I have wasted my life, you know. And it's starting to turn around. I'm starting to not think like that. It's like, man, you are so blessed that you didn't die out there. So many of my friends that I went to school with, those that have used and those that were clean, have passed away. They're gone. So he's saving me to clean me up for something. I don't know what, but I'm just going to keep walking this journey that Racing for Recovery has put me on, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You know, and sir, I was listening to you, and I'm not trying to give any advice. You said you go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get on your knees and ask God to help you with those other issues. I just know for me, sometimes I need outside help. I do get outside help. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that. I'll pass.
Thank you.
One thing that when I read it the first time, I didn't exactly know what it meant to me, but it's definitely become one of the things that I'll never ever forget. But it's towards the end when it says, the treasure of recovery isn't a brilliant new life, but becoming the kind of person who can create a brilliant new life. That's kind of encapsulated all of what it took for me in my recovery to reap the benefits of what it was supposed to mean the whole time, and the other times that I kind of half-assed it when I tried, was that you could have sat me in here and said, okay, you're not going to drink anymore, and that's fine. I can put the bottle down, and you're going to get everything back when you do. But I still would have done the same things with the things I got back that I did before. I know I would have, because I wasn't healing from the inside out. I wasn't looking at what drove me out there to do it in the beginning. The fears. I didn't address any of my fears. I didn't want to look at the hard truth of what it was that I felt like made me want to punish myself all the time by going back out, because that's all it was to me towards the end. It was not fun. It was punishment. It was an F the world kind of thing. It was, look what, all right, you expect me to do this, watch what I'm going to do. And it was just a total implosion. But I found that, and this place is what taught me definitely, is that reach for goals that are beyond you right now, because it's more gratifying to have to grow into the type of person that can achieve those goals. Maybe you don't achieve them the first few times, but you continually work towards it. You continually grow into the person that can achieve them. And that's even more gratifying thing than the goal itself, just to know that exact growth's not going to go away. That's something that's permanent inside you, not something that nobody can take away from you. It's not a material thing that you're not going to have at the end. You're going to have that, and it's going to pave the way for you. I truly believe that. And again, it was just that the inner demon thing is what I, just like you said, Dustin, I thought it was perfect. It was none of the material things that I realized that I missed the most. It was the trust. It was being able to trust myself, count on myself, have the people around me have that genuine look of trust that said, okay, I think you get it this time, and knowing that was the truth, because this time was the truth. And it was far different than getting a job back, the car back, any of the stuff that you can get along the way, and which will come along the way. But that's
Kristen.
I don't know. I really like what everyone is having to say. And for me, the 5 pillars, it's awesome, and we'll have 7 months coming up, and I was doing really well, and then I had a hiccup, a bump in the road with my mental health, and I felt like it set me back. But now thinking about it, I'm glad I went through it, because it's making me stronger, and it's something that I lost during my addiction. I used for a very long time. Was most people that know me as my daughter, and I would do anything, and I am doing anything and everything to get her back in my life, her get even strong enough where I can at least just write her a letter. Because right now I can't do it because I'm not ready. I'm not strong enough, and all of these challenges that I am overcoming physically and mentally is just preparing me to write that letter, and then preparing me for what comes after I write the letter. Whether or not she receives it well or she's not ready, it is up to her, and I have to be prepared, and I want to create that world of strength and positivity around me, and going through this stuff is probably something that was meant to be, so I can handle it when it's time. So, and it's that love that I miss. It's the tangible things, like you said. It's the love that I have to give somebody, anybody, and the love that I want so badly. That's all I want. Simple. It sounds so simple, but it'll get there. I'm working on it.
Thank you. You got to talking about the journey, and it's funny, I think about my own, and like I look back on where I was even even a year ago, and I remember being where I was and thinking like how far I had to go to get out of the hole that I was in, and it felt like where I was at was like I couldn't get out. I didn't know what I had to do, and now where I'm at today, I look back on that, and I remember just thinking like I wouldn't change the road that got me where I am today, because there's probably a reason why I didn't get this when I should have got it any of the years past in my life. This was set up for me, and this is supposed to be my journey. I got it when I got it because I was supposed to get it when I got it. I'm not saying I got this. Like, I want you to understand that's not what I'm saying. But like when I decided I was going to change my life and stop using drugs and alcohol, that happened when I made that decision for the last time in my life. It was supposed to happen then for a reason. And I think about all that shit I went through, even in my sobriety, like some of the hardships that I talked about in the book, and losing people, members of your family. Like, that happened to me for the first time being sober, in the winter, and that was shitty. And coming out on the other side of it, it made me a stronger person. I got through it, and I'm like, well, if I can get through that without drinking and using drugs, it's like, what else? Like, if I was going to use it, it would have been then. And I was like, I made it through it, and I'm stronger because of that. And yeah, man, the journey's awesome. I look back on it, and I'm thankful that I made it through it. And who said earlier about we're lucky that we made it through it? A lot of people didn't make it through it. We all know people who aren't here because of their decisions and choices. So when I'm feeling bad, those are the little things. Like, I'm thankful I'm here. My life's not perfect yet, but I'm alive and I'm able to fix it one day at a time. Joe.
A lot of you guys kind of touched on things that I was thinking about as we kind of read this piece, but I actually underlined, and I know they even have in italics here, is, you know, you can't go back to who you were. That's the hard truth. And then right after that, you're a different person now. You can't take back your past. And I was thinking about that as Kristen was reading it, and I'm just kind of like what you said, Dustin. There's so many things that are different now than they were of the Joe 2 years ago. And I mean, I remember I used to place, when I thought of success back then, success to me was the nice car, the house, the money, the toys, everything like that. And I realized that even though when I had those things and I was working my life away just to have money and things, they didn't make me happy, you know. Anytime I bought something new or had those nice things, it was like, okay, like, what is this doing for me, you know? And I realize now that, like, success to me is finding a purpose that makes me happy, you know? I could be broke, living in the shitty place, whatever, doesn't matter, and it won't matter to me because it's what I'm doing that makes me happy. And it's kind of like what you said, Dustin, you know, we all make this journey at different paces, different paths, you know. Some of us go through a lot more, some of us go through a lot less, but that doesn't mean that our journeys are any better or worse. It's just kind of how we got there. And I think you were right, you and Alina, when you talked about why am I here at this point, and this is when I got, you know, when I figured out that I didn't want to destroy my life anymore. And I think the answer is part of that journey, you know. And it's true. I mean, why couldn't I get this 5 years ago when things were actually going good? Well, I wasn't ready yet. Life hadn't become so difficult for me that I wanted to change everything, and I was willing to do whatever it took to change and everything like that. So I'm grateful that I'm where I'm at right now. And like you said, life's not perfect, but I mean, my life's good now.
Yeah.
Compared to 2 years ago when it was chaos and pain and hurt, and I couldn't even hold myself accountable. I didn't have any respect for myself, and now I'm working towards things. You know, I have goals, I have plans, I have things that I actually want to sit down and do, and I'm not looking towards the end goal as like, okay, once I get here, I'm good and I can stop growing and stop achieving things. Like there's no more there anymore. It's just a constant journey of self-betterment. I'm just really grateful that I'm in this program, and this program's taught me things like that, because I had to get ready. I had to be ready to change everything, and then had to be ready to do those things, the hard things, the good times, the bad, whatever you want to call it, just to get through it and get to the goals that I put out for myself.
Eric?
No, Chris, I just want to tell you I loved what you said. Part of what you said especially was when you were talking about running into that setback, and you know how it was, I guess it was the fact that you didn't face it as this utter failure. It was this struggle that you had to get through. And my whole time in my head, when you started saying that, when you said, I think I'm getting stronger from that, I started thinking, you get it. You get what this is about, because it was that fear. Once you start to be able to rely on yourself and say, man, you know, that hurt, that sucked, but all right, I think I'm better for that, and here's what I learned from it. When you can pick things apart without that emotional sting to it, is when I think that fear starts to get replaced with resolve, and that, you know, that resolve can do everything for you. Because once you pass through that one, that may be the gateway to all the other ones. To like, it wasn't as bad as that, and I got through that, got myself together.
That was a hard time. That was the worst thing. That was harder than going through my breast cancer. I'll tell you, it was a real struggle.
Did you hear?
I'm here. I made it. Thank you to all the support from all my awesome friends and family here. Thank you.
Here you go.
Yep.
Oh, all right. There was another part I was just reading. This isn't my book, so I didn't write in it. Where it says, like, you can't take back the past. And what you can do is take the best of what you were and add the wisdom that you gained through your journey. So the way I interpret that is like there was a time in my sobriety where I still defined myself by my past, right? So I still didn't, I was struggling with my own identity, right? So, how can I say this? I define myself by my past. I don't know, I'm going to just kind of go with that. And then, so for a while, that kind of helped me where I was at, and once I realized that I'm not who I was, and I'm working to make myself, who I am today, when I look back on my past, I see where I went wrong. You know, I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm not going to go this way when I know what's that way now. You know, I know what's out there and how it's not getting any better. And so it's my past, the only time if anything, it's a catalyst for me to be a better person today, because I know I'm not going back. But through this journey, there's tons of lessons, dude. I wouldn't change it, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for this program and the people that are here, the peer support, and the guys that I surrounded myself with were a huge part of me being who I am today, and that's another thing. I'm grateful for that. Go ahead.
I'm new to this sobriety. So, one thing I've always done my whole life is journal, drunk or sober. And I've been journaling a lot. Part of it is just therapy, to get it out, because I don't speak freely with just anyone. But the other part is I want to go back and read it, because I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget the pain, the shakes, you know, being in the hospital. I don't want to forget the people when I go home. The whole experience. That works for me. And before I started journaling, again, when I got here, I went back and read from like 2003. Like, and it was real sporadic, like 5 times this year, you know, and just watching the wave where I was definitely drinking a lot then, and then I was cool for a while, and then you could read it, you could see the erraticness in it. But that's something that works, because I don't ever want to forget. I don't want to come back. I want to come back to help, but I don't want to come back because I've let alcohol take over my life.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's helpful.
Right, and that's what I like how you said that, but that's what I was saying when I went I use it as a catalyst, so I think of things like the smell of Lucas County's jail, or the feeling of handcuffs on my wrists, or you know, all the bad shit that comes with that, man. That's the shit that I remember. You know, if I were ever to think about going to do some dumb shit, like, do I want to wake up in the bullpen, or, you know, like, I'm not going to live that way anymore, you know. I'm not going to forget those either, you know. Those are the things that keep me where I am, keep me as humble as possible, and that help me remain an open mind. And yeah, I like the way you said that.
Just to kind of touch on that, something which I think is all great, which you said, what helped me kind of along the same vein is when I first got into this, like Dustin and yourself, I dwelled on the past a lot. You know, I thought the things I did in the past were what defined me and everything like that. And I too like to journal, so I could do the same thing. I could go back and read like the stuff I wrote, and I could remember the mindset I was in when alcohol was the thing that drove my life. And what I had to do that helped me a lot when I got here is not forget the past, but don't let it hold me down anymore. I remember when I yelled at my mom, or I remember when I was shitty to my brothers or to my friends. I couldn't let that weigh me down. I couldn't feel guilty about those things. The things I did were horrible and they were awful, but I was moving towards being a new person. So I remembered those things, and then I used those when I was in sobriety and that trust wasn't built back up yet, and maybe my mom didn't so much trust me the things I was doing. I had to remember why she was doing that,
right.
Why she had trouble trusting me. Sure, I was on the right path, I was sober and I was doing the right things, but that was years of me destroying that trust in those relationships that I had to let her heal, and I couldn't force her to trust me now. So I kind of viewed it as scales, and when I first got into sobriety, my scale was tilted really heavily in the negative direction. The things I had done, the things I had said, the relationships I destroyed, but throughout my sobriety, I kept adding positive things onto the other side of it. I was doing the right thing. Maybe it was as simple as just showing up on time. A little thing to just keep adding on. And now I feel like that scale is way in the positive direction. So whenever I approach a situation, I always kind of think of it, is this a positive thing? Is this decision going to be a net positive for myself and the people that I surround myself with? It kind of helps me stay on the straight and narrow, especially if it's what I like to call in the real world, away from Racing for Recovery. If I have to make a decision, I can't turn to Dustin and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm kind of on my own. I just have to think, is this going to be a positive decision? Is this something that I'm going to look back on and say that was the right way to go? So it's not always the easy decision, but I feel firmly now that my scale's pretty heavily tilted in the positive direction. So
because of your consistency.
Yeah, and I don't forget the stuff I did. I don't forget how bad it felt to come down off of it, or like you said, be in the hospital. I don't forget any of that stuff, but I don't let that define me, and I don't dwell on it. But anytime things are going bad and I start getting in the dark spot in my head at the in the middle of the night or whatever it is, I just have to remember, that's your past. You don't have to go back to that. You don't let that define you. All that stuff you did, put it away for now. Don't forget about it, but use that as motivation to make the right decisions and the right stuff going forward.
Well said, my friend. Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't see it.
I just want to read this one part. It says, but you can't go back to who you were. That's the hard truth. You're a different person now. You can't take back the past. I don't want to go back to the person I was, because that person was real sick. Let's see. And then it goes on to say, what you can do is take the best of what you were and add, okay, I don't have my readers, bear with me. Add the wisdom you've gained on your journey through recovery and create a new version of yourself. Older, wiser, calmer, more grateful, physically healthier. It's up to you. To accomplish that, you need balance, perspective, and self-kindness. I like that. I like that a lot, because I don't want to go back to the person that I was, because that person was getting high. Something happened today, and that kind of threw me. And I just thank God that one of my peers was with me. I took some things over to my daughter's for my storage unit for the twins and the babies. And knocked on my daughter's door. I heard the pitter-patter of little feet, which were the older kids, and they know not to open up the door. And so then my peer said that she saw my daughter look out the window. My daughter wouldn't open up the door, long and short of it. So I just left the stuff. And my peer, when I got back in the car, just knew the pain I was feeling. And I could tell that by the actions that they did when I got into the car. And for a moment, that pain touched the other pain that's already in me. And for a brief moment, it's like, man, a hit would take all that away. So I'm just so grateful that I wasn't alone while I did that. I can't speak enough for peer support, man, because I can't do this by myself, especially in early recovery. You talked about trust. I don't trust myself yet. I have a car over there, but I've turned my keys over to the office. I can't do the money thing, so my sponsor handles all that. To be humble enough to surrender and say, hey, I can't do that right now. I just can't. I don't like that. But I know it's gonna be, in the end, the best for me to get me through this time right now, because early sobriety to me isn't like having a year, 2, 3, or 4, those first few months. I'm just talking about me. I pray that I know the trust will come back, but just for right now, I just need to focus on what I need to do to stay clean and sober. That's all I need to focus on right now. As much as I'd like to have a little part-time job, I was told that I couldn't, and I understand the reasons why. I just need to focus on this and try to heal that little girl that's inside of me, where that pain is deep down in there. I want to get better, and I'm becoming a better version of Alina each day, that I don't pick up any drugs or alcohol. Each day that I'm transparent and I open myself up, for new things. Each time I make myself vulnerable. Because sometimes I think, God, why'd you share that? But it's like the healing. Because I know they don't, it's not called a disease in here, but that lower power wants me. Bottom line. And my higher power wants what's best for me, what's good. So I'm just going to keep on this journey one day at a time, and everything else will fall into place as long as I do the work. Maybe one day I'll be able to speak to some older adults like me who have tried and tried and tried, and has given up. And maybe I'll be able to share my story with them, as long as I stay clean and sober, though. That's first. And give them some hope. That they too, just like me, in and out, get some years out, where I'll be able to understand and have some empathy for them. I want to be able to help somebody else. Bottom line, that's the greatest gift. Because in here we're talking life and death. And if I can help save somebody's life, just one person, man, that's all right. I'll pass.
Thank you. Go ahead, Casey.
Hey, I just want to say, Elena, I like what you had to say. And I believe, I just, from my perspective, I don't trust myself either. Like, every day is like, I feel like there's skeletons in my closet. I have people hit me up on Facebook constantly, asking me to hang out or party with them. And I feel like, I don't want to go down that path, because that is my past. And a lot of people know that I had went through recovery, and I am trying to make myself better. But at the same time, I'm like, I do like miss hanging out with certain people, but I'm like, I have to discipline myself at the same time. So it's like, where do you go from there? Like, per se, I don't know what to do half the time, because I'm a mess half the time. So just gonna be honest. I try journaling. I try to do the all that, and I don't like to read my journals because they're just terrible. I just think they're just things I don't want to relive and I don't want to look back at. It was just a way for me to put things on paper because I needed an out. I needed an outlet because I didn't have people to talk to me, and I'm pretty sure my dog don't want to hear me bitch and complain about drugs and alcohol. So I just respect you for everything you've done.
Thanks, man. I'll tell you what I did in that situation. I cut everybody off that wasn't doing something that I wanted anymore. So, and there's a few guys that I've known my entire life. 20, well, maybe not the whole life, but 29 years that I blocked on Facebook. I blocked their phone number because where they're going is not where I wanted to go. And in the past, I didn't do that. So this time when somebody's like, look, you should surround yourself around people that you aspire to be like or have goals or who are doing the right thing, and that's what I did. I came in here and I found a new family, a new group of friends, and we all have the same mindset, I believe, most of them, I think. And that's what I did, though. I got rid of all of them, so I stopped. I don't get calls like that anymore. You know, the people that I surround myself with, they know I'm not going to the bar. They know I'm not going to do any dumb shit. So that took a little bit of time. There was some of that early on. Where you at? Where you been? Blah, 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 blah. But I was at that point where I'm not looking back. If that's what you guys are doing, you know, best of luck. And, you know, that's just some of the, I had to trim some of the fat, per se, you know what I mean? I had to get rid of some of the stuff that would have, especially early in recovery, I wasn't risking that shit. I didn't trust myself. You know, in my mind, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm not going to do anything. I'll just go hang out, you know. And I've done that in the past. I'm going to go to the bar or whatever, I'll just hang out. I'll have a water and Pepsi, and then it's like 4 a.m. and I'm Ubering home or some shit. You know, it's like, it's never worked out for me like that. So, like, I just avoid all those situations. Kind of like what Joe was saying earlier, like, is this decision which scale is this going to tip? You know what I mean? And I'm really trying to tip this good scale because I got like 10 years of bullshit on this side. And yeah, go ahead, Kristen.
I just want to say one of the cool things that that I'm taking from this section, and everything that I'm learning from Racing for Recovery is that my interpretation is, as I am growing and healing, that I get to kind of create who I want to be. Like, I can take the things I liked about myself. I mean, I kind of liked myself before. I was a good person. Made some terrible choices. I'm aware of that. And I think that's one thing. That's good to have. I like what I see in other people. So I take mental note of that. I know what I don't like. I know what I'm beginning to like. And I get to just kind of create this whole new, try out different things. It's like trying out different outfits. Okay. No, I like that. It's exciting. And one of the coolest things for me, and I hope everybody can get this, is that I know I have a passion, and that passion is to help other people. And I get to do that, and I see that I get to do that when I am further along in my healing. And I get to get what I love, I'm passionate about clothes. I'm passionate about helping people, and I get to combine that. And that is just like the coolest thing that I get to do. I get to create what I want to do, just like I get to create who I want to be in life. And it's pretty darn cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I know early on I had to try and fix myself before I could even try fixing anybody else. And that's tough sometimes because some of those friends I was talking about earlier, I'm like, I really wanted them to have what I was going for, and that has never worked out for me in the past, trying to go save somebody, especially that early on, because it's just like I said, I'll be fine, and then it's, I broke out in handcuffs or woke up somewhere, you know what I mean? It's never ended well for me. So, yeah, I know I had to fix myself before I ever tried, what do they call that? Driving, is that for? I don't remember. Yeah. I don't know. Who's got the autobiography?
Autobiography in 5 short chapters. I walk down the street, there's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in, I am lost, I am hopeless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street, there's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It takes a long time to get out. I walk down the same street, there's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there, I still fall in, it's a habit. My eyes are open, I know where I am, it is my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street, there's a deep hole in the sidewalk, I walk around it. I walk down another street.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.